ready?
There we go.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation.
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Liberty, justice for all.
Okay,
My country
here we go.
is so deep.
There you go. You got it, right here.
Okay, now we should mute.
Now you can mute, except for
I have to read the notice requirement.
Jesse.
Yes.
Land of my father.
The notice requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act have been met by transmitting the notice of the regular meeting to the Commissioner's official newspaper on January 30th, 2020, posting the notice where required, and filing a copy of the notice with the Commission clerk. Allenhurst,
Aye.
Asbury Park,
Yes.
Interlaken,
Present.
Loch Garber,
Here.
Neptune, Eric,
Here.
Ocean,
Here.
Resolution 2029, a resolution to approve the minutes of the regular meeting from February 20th, 2020. Someone please offer.
Offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
Second.
So who offered, Ocean or Bruce? you-
Ocean.
Ocean, okay, and you seconded. Be it resolved that the minutes of the regular meeting of the Deal Lake Commission held on February 20th, 2020 being the same are hereby approved. Allenhurst,
Yes.
Asbury Park,
Yes.
Interlaken,
Yes.
Loch Garber,
Yes.
Neptune,
Yes.
Ocean.
Yes.
Tonight, we have two sets of treasurer's reports and bills to be paid. One's from March 19th, 2020, and one from April 16th, 2020. Does someone want to read them, or
I don't have them.
you don't have them?
Well, I would have had them, but
Okay.
it's running late.
Okay.
Can you read them, Jesse?
Of course. March 19th, we had the total balance on deposit of $130,788.80. We had receipts of $1,049.57 and disbursements of $34,867.56 for a total on deposit of $96,970.81. Would someone like to offer the minutes, the bills to be paid from March 19th?
So moved.
Second?
Asbury Park.
Okay. Allenhurst,
Yes.
Asbury Park,
Yes.
Interlaken,
Yes.
Loch Garber,
Yes.
Neptune,
Yeah.
Ocean.
Yes.
We have another set of bills to be paid from April 16th, 2020. Total on deposit is $96,970.81. We had receipts of $105.93. Total disbursements of $6,432.93. So for a total on deposit of $90,643.81. Someone please offer the bills list.
Offer.
Asbury Park.
Second,
Interlaken.
That's
Thank
nice.
you.
Thank you.
Allenhurst,
Aye.
Asbury Park,
Yes.
Interlaken,
Yes.
Loch Garber,
Yes.
Neptune,
Yeah.
Ocean.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, Don,
Okay. Thanks for that, Jesse.
you're welcome.
We're gonna get right into the flume electrification. So I'll let Peter start. I'm gonna find some photos so we can show them to you. So Peter, go ahead.
We'll do it together, Don.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes. Give me a minute.
We have been monitoring construction, and you'll see the status of some of the interior improvements. The first construction element that was finished that you probably know already is the tide gate that was installed. They have the operational, call it the one with a very delicately balanced wheel that allows the tide gate to go up and down.
There we go.
There's our surge chamber, and interior to the surge chamber you see in the corner of the surge chamber is the floor stand and the wheel that allows the tide gate to go up and down. And Don, why don't you explain what keeps that in the locked position and what we have to do to make it operational?
There's a keyway that goes on this main shaft here. You can't really see them here.
Right.
I don't know if they have extra pictures of that, but it's a large keyway. And actually, I might get lucky and get some pictures. Hold on. Yeah, the keyway is a large item, and it's something that Peter, we're looking in additional pricing to get extra parts because it's something that could fall into the lake or into the stream bed. So we're looking at getting additional pricing on that. We need, and there's a big wheel that goes along with it. So I want to get those pictures if I can find them.
Okay, while you're doing that,
Go ahead.
that gate is operated by us, basically. And what we're going to have to do as we work to close out the project is create a memorandum of agreement between the Deal Lake Commission, perhaps the towns or just the commission, and the DEP to allow us to open and close the gate at certain times. And those times will be based on a storm event, an anticipated flood event, or some other reason why we would want to close off the tunnel coming into the lake. So we'll work on that.
The best thing. It's installed. It works. We know it works with the drill set. Let me just get it. Where is it? Where'd the pictures go? Uh-oh.
Don, when you're describing things, there are people that can't see them because they're just listening. I'm just reminding you.
Okay, I got you.
Thank you, Jesse. I mean,
okay, I gotta move you guys over here. Hold on.
Both of us start with a J.
I think I'm slow.
That's the drill that was purchased. We're thinking of getting another drill so we have it available for the fire departments or whatever. But that's the wheel. So this wheel, what do we figure out, Peter? 1,000 turns to shut down the main.
You're so strong; it's hard to tell how many times.
Yeah. That's right. But it's a lot of turns. What our surge chamber shutdown device will prevent is exactly what's happening behind my head. This was the morning of Sandy, and we couldn't stop the ocean. With this new gate now we'll be able to shut down any ocean surge in between low tides so we can continue to lower the lake during storm events, major storm events. So that's what Peter was talking about. It's got to be a big event because the DEP is going to have tight restrictions on us for closing that gate because we got fish habitat, herring, shad going in and out of that. So they don't want us inadvertently just close it for the sake of closing it just because it's a new moon tide or a full moon tide. We're not going to be able to close it. It's going to be big storms that we're talking about. So let me go back again. Now, this keyway, that's rectangular spot, this fits in that area. This is, we got to take this off because it's heavy. It's got to be 10, 12 pounds. I assume it's is it stainless steel, Peter?
Yes, it is.
And this will disappear in about 2 seconds. So we're going to have this stowed away with the gear, with the wheel and or the drill. And the drill has a battery powered drill, and it works like a charm, which is a huge event for us. You don't have, but it's going to be when you do it, it's going to be the worst conditions in the world.
Right.
So we're going to have to get the fire companies involved and ask them to help. So that's down the road. But anyway, that's the inside currently. The old mechanisms that we had they're going to be thrown away soon. And the new ones are installed. This is the new mechanism. It's a beautiful device, if I have to say so myself.
Yep.
So anyway, that's it. That's it from here. So what you want to talk about the rest, the building itself, Pete?
No, why don't you? Because you were out there, and I had Dave. I have one of my engineers on site every day. The contractor is there, and we monitor everything from installation of the electrical service connections, tying into the electrical boxes, connection to all of the
Let me go back.
features that we're putting in, whether it's lighting or air conditioning or the actuators.
So this, the inside, the electric system is totally upgraded, which is great. I mean, it's all brand new. It's above the high water mark for Sandy. There's surge protection. There's a new light switch here, new LED lighting up top. This is where the box is going to go, where the controls, the remote controls. The remote control system's not in yet. This is the building itself. We got new lighting. 3 new lights are already installed. They're going to put 2 additional lights in. The new door was put in, and it's already broken. So that's a whole nother story. So high winds came up, and it didn't survive the high winds.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's going to get fixed. Now, this is the mechanism. That's the old mechanism. And here is our new mechanism. And all you have to do is push a button. It's actually pretty easy. And this was a little video we had going. I'll let you see that.
Hey, Don,
Yeah.
is there a way you could get this video back up? As soon as you started doing this, it went out on my phone. I don't know if it's just my phone or somebody else or anybody else's. Is everybody seeing this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see it.
Hey, Ken, can you check on that?
I'm not having a problem, and I'm on my phone as well.
Yeah, it
Okay.
just went out as soon as okay. I'll just listen.
Yeah. So it's not that noisy. It's relatively quiet in there. It takes a couple minutes to go up, but it's a lot easier for sure.
I
So,
just
anyway.
want to say, Don, for those people who can't see, they can see it on the Facebook page. What you're showing,
That's correct.
everything that Don is showing is on the Facebook page, and it shows, it says a quick video of new flume gate operation. That was put up March 23rd. So if you're wondering
correct.
what we're looking at, that's what we're looking at. And you can see it on Facebook as well.
That's correct. I don't think I have any additional pictures up here. That's it for that. So that's all. Right now, we're waiting on the the automated piece. All the boxes and the controllers are in. The lights are in. We're just waiting for the air conditioned box to be installed. So that'll be. I hope in the next 2 months we'll have that installed. Plus, we have the wall's going to get restored. It's going to be coated, sealed. So all those cracks you see on the retaining wall will be completed. The final finishes will have to wait till October because we have to lower the lake to do the complete wall, and we can't do that until October timeframe. But it's gone a long way. All the concrete's new. The building's going to get painted. The cracks are going to get filled. There's some other minor electronics that have to go in, but I would say it's 75%, 80% done. Pete, what do you think?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
And just so the commissioners know in particular.
Yeah,
and the
and I got to mention, we should be really proud of all our professionals. I mean, everybody here, all the professionals, Steve and Peter, Jack, they're all doing spectacular jobs. And Hunt, and we all got things to do, and they're out there. Guys are out there, in the weather and all that, getting things done. So I know Dave and Matt has been working real hard, and same with Turner.
Yeah, we have, and we coordinate, just so you know, we coordinate everything with Jesse and Lorraine.
Yep.
And all the payments that are made to the contractor are only made after the work is complete,
Yeah.
approved by our office. And then the commission votes on sending the engineer certificate to the Township of Ocean, who cuts the check to the contractor. And the Army Corps and the DEP will not reimburse us until the project is complete. So we're going to be working very hard to complete the project. All this slowdown's been pretty difficult for us. I actually don't even know if they're going to be capable of reimbursing us in a timely fashion if they're all, the workforce is up.
I know Jack and Lorraine have been working real hard trying to get this. I guess it's 4 quarters, I believe, Lorraine, or 5 that are outstanding. And they finally got it worked out, and we should be getting a check as soon as they figure out how to fill the checkbook out electronically. So, yeah. Jeannie.
Yeah, I have 2 questions. One, do we have an idea of when will the remote control will be starting to be operational? And 2, is it possible to, every time we open and close the flume, for how long, the date, can't that be digitally recorded since it is going to be controlled remotely? Can that be built into that system? That would keep a record of our,
we hope.
we
Yeah, right.
we
I
are
got you.
required
So-
to keep a record of that.
Gotcha. 2 months for the complete installation, I believe, it's going to take to get it all worked out. And on the electric, we're definitely going to check on that, see if we can do it, because it makes life easier as a backup. Because now, we have the sign-off list at the flume, which is easy to do, but now we got to have some other device. So we push a button from West Downhurst or Hawaii, we can get it recorded. So I agree with you on that. We'll look at
It
that.
will be able to be recorded?
I don't know that answer.
Oh, okay.
I don't know that answer. We got to get it working first, then we'll figure it out. So, all right, that's it from here. We're going to go 319 grant. Peter, we got a lot going on with that, right?
Why don't you let Jack
Don,
start,
hey,
and then
Don.
I'll chime in with my.
You want Jack to go?
Sure.
Hey, Don,
Yeah.
this is Eric. Don, I
Okay.
just I logged in with the computer, but it says I have to be let in by the host.
Oh, Kenny, can you do that? Kenny's got that, I think.
Okay.
You mean video-wise?
Yeah,
Okay.
I just logged in with my computer. You can go
Kenny-
on with the meeting.
Kenny, you got that? Okay, we'll keep moving. I'm sure we'll get to you in a second.
Yeah.
Jack, you want to talk about the status of the floating wetlands? And
Yeah, sure. So in terms of the floating wetland islands, we have them, we have the quotes for them. We have the request into DEP. Russ Rader still has not gotten back to me. So now he is the missing link in this whole communication chain. In the past, it was the grant manager. Our grant manager, Lisa Sworn, has been really good about communication in terms of the quarterly reports, and Lorraine can certainly attest to that, I'm sure. Lorraine and I have been testing our infinite patience with DEP, going back and forth and trying to get those figured out. From my understanding, I thought it was the last meeting, we got the first 2 quarters of payment from DEP. We're just waiting on 3, 4, and 5 now. So it's only 3 that we're missing. But we're making progress. Now, in light of the potential need for social distancing in the future, we have also looked into a new quote on the floating wetland islands, the same number of islands, just a different number of holes to put the plants in the islands. Fewer holes means less people congregated around one space, and it will take less time to do, so less exposure. Granted, I'm hoping a lot of this will kind of be lifted once we're ready to plant, but in the event that, we still want to be able to keep a safe distance for a long period of time, for months, as far as I can tell. And with that,
hey, Jack, can we
Yeah.
can we keep the same number of holes and just fill them on another round to keep the people can still be separated, but you just rotate them around. Is that possible?
Yeah, we could. I envisioned having a lot of people there. I mean, I figured you would have your Boy Scout troop, and I'm sure there are plenty of other people from each of the different communities that can get a bunch of people, bang this out in one day and be done with it, and have them in the water, taking up the nutrients. The interesting thing is that even if we cut the number of plants in half, a majority of what's going to be taking up the nutrients in the water is going to be the microbes that grow in the matrix, the little fibers that form this island. So that said, I guess if that's the case, Don, we could maintain the course, but the limiting factor here is still Russ Rader. I still have not been able to reach him. I don't know what the status is of our request. Now, he's the last, from my understanding, after speaking with Lisa, he's the last, it's just his approval, and then we get the check.
Steve, does Steve have any recommendations on that?
Steve, you're unmuted, right?
Yeah, in terms of dealing with Russ Rader, no, because, he's been a wild card in the past anyhow. But Jack, as far as the plants are concerned, if you went to, if they're going to put larger, are they going to put larger holes in the floating wetland island? So are you going to go to bigger plant stock?
I think
So
we're
that
just going to
fills in
space them out
quicker?
more. Same
Just
same
gonna
size
space
for
it
the plugs and just further distance.
So you're still going to use the plugs. You're not going to use larger plant material.
Right.
So it's going to take longer for the floating wetland island to sort of flesh out then.
Potentially.
Okay.
I mean, if we had twice as many plants, the plants would still take just as long to. I see what you're getting at, though. The
Yeah,
greater density of plants.
From the
is gonna be-
coverage,
Yeah. I
right.
see.
And you're going to be, I know we've done this two different ways. So are you going to be putting the plants in while the islands are sitting up on land and then, bringing the island into the water, or are they going to be planted while they're in the water?
I think we would be able to plant them in the water. I mean, it's close enough to land. This isn't. I mean, you've seen where we were going to put them.
Yeah.
It's not that far, so it's certainly feasible to be able to plant them in the water.
But if you have to stand in the water, you may not come out. It's
Yeah.
Fair enough.
You might be planted in the lake.
Well, okay, we could have a team right along the edge. I mean, it's.
I know when we did it over at Ocean County Park, the bottom of that pond was really soft as well.
Yeah.
And we did do the planting on the land. And
Okay.
then it was a team effort to get, the mats. But the mats are going to be smaller, so I think they should be easier and lighter to handle. So, I mean, if you plant them on land, it might be a way, so there may be a way.
You could put them on roller tubes. You could put them on,
Yeah.
rug
that's-
rollers and just roll them in.
That's sort of what we did at Ocean
Or
County
plastic
Park.
pipe, PVC pipe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically same sort of approach.
Oh.
But, okay, and then all right, we can get into the details later.
So
But,
the key thing is we got to get the money from the check off and the money.
One way or another, I got to get in touch with Russ to see where we stand on that. Either way.
I'll
Yeah,
try to
that's
help
the-
you tomorrow. I'll try to make a phone call or two.
Okay.
See what happens. You sent a very nice letter to. It was a Jay. I think it was Jay Springer today. I saw it. Yeah. No result. No. Maybe Eric. You have any contacts at the DEP recently? Maybe there's somebody alive there that's in the office.
Yeah, I can definitely reach out.
Okay, that would help a lot because we're really, they're struggling between Lorraine and Jack, and we're not getting any feedback now. We need some checks. That's what we
Well,
need.
and to segue back to Peter, I mean, I was speaking with Turner and or not Turner, Matt. I'm sorry. I was speaking with you, Don, through your phone in your car to Matt. I had a follow-up call with him after that just to kind of catch up and see how things were doing. But they're also going to need to understand what it takes to get advance payment for the MTDs, how much of that they can get. Floating wetland islands, it's not going to be a problem to get the full amount, but I mean, the $150,000 MTD, you may not get the full amount up front.
Right. All right.
Right, and Jack, let me just interject because I think it's
please.
important for the public
You have the experience.
for the public to understand that the manufacturers of these structures will not even initiate putting these things together until they receive payment.
Right.
So we're definitely hung out to dry, with not getting any of that funding from DEP. This is not a new, issue in terms of the manufacturers requiring prepayment. So this is something, it's not something that's unique to this project. And DEP has accommodated those types of prepayments in the past because they recognize the fact that the suppliers will not even initiate design until they receive payment.
Yeah.
So, it is critical to get this money moving from DEP to us. And they have our schedule. They understand what our schedule is. They understand, the timing and the amount of time that it takes for these things to be constructed and then shipped. I think the MTDs are shipped all the way down from Maine, but it takes a bunch of time.
Yeah.
And
And to add to that, the floating wetlands, look, if we got paid by the state for the bills we have outstanding, we'd be able to fund it internally. But right now we can't do that because we don't have enough money in the bank. So we're just waiting on those larger checks, and I'm not sure off the top of my head what those numbers are, but it's sizable.
Yeah.
And we paid them out to Peter and his team and you guys for your efforts, but we haven't got the payback yet. So we're waiting on that.
One encouraging thing, and though it's probably a small consolation, this new norm that we're in, the COVID-19 situation, has made DEP certainly aware and very much more amenable than they had been in the recent past to grant time extension, no cost time extensions.
Right.
Now, I know, Steve, you have had them in the past. I know we've been starting to move away from them, the work projects you and I have worked on. And, we weren't going to be doing that anymore because DEP wasn't going to be granting them. But based on this current situation, they have definitely told me that it's something that is definitely on their mind as to moving forward. They'll certainly be ready to grant no cost time extensions. I'd rather not have to have one of those, though. I want to get this done on time.
Got it. Okay, I'm going to keep on moving.
That just means that the lakes are going to suffer. That's all.
Yeah, there's a lot of lakes are suffering. We're about the only lake that's open right now. Lake Apacon's pretty much closed because all the boat ramps are closed. So
yeah.
Anyway, hey, Peter, you want to talk about the MTDs?
Do you have the plans, or can I just reference them?
Go ahead. You can talk. I'll put them on the screen. Sure.
Okay, what we have done is we've completed a set of bid documents for the stormwater treatment devices. That's the last sheet of 6. That's the first sheet of 6. If you look on the left-hand side, you'll all see your names there. We have a key map keying the 2 locations on Sunset Lake and the 1 location on for the access to Deal Lake, which is Memorial Drive. So that's the cover sheet. The second sheet is Sunset Lake. It shows the smaller of the 2 devices going in the northwest corner of Sunset Lake and Grand Avenue. And then the larger of the 2 devices going in the southeast corner of 5th Avenue and Grand Avenue. And the northerly one takes about, I believe, 20 plus acres. The southerly one takes about 40 acres. It treats the water before it enters Sunset Lake. We did this again to reinforce that's now behind it, rather than putting in smaller inlet filters, tree boxes, whatever, to filter out smaller amounts of water at isolated locations. We put in these larger structures to filter out larger volumes of water. The volumes of water that go in these 2 locations are so significant that over the years, through pipe defects, it's eroded the bank of the lake, so that you just have a little gully going in and no protection at all. So it's going to be resolving a significant issue for the city. It's going to be putting these structures in. They'll be accessible. They'll be easy to maintain. And we're also replacing guide rail and landscaping and failed in the past. If you look at that plan there on Grand Avenue, the left-hand corner on Grand is the smaller device. The lower right-hand corner is the larger device. Now you're looking at Memorial Drive. This is where the big guy goes. It's the largest structure that Vortex or Contact makes. There's a 48-inch pipe going in. There's a 48-inch pipe going out. That doesn't leave a lot of room in the structure. So the diameter of the manhole structure is 72 inches. Very big manhole structure. We're putting the unit offline, and Steve can talk about that a little bit more than I can. It allows for a storm surge to bypass the unit and not wash everything out that is collected. There's a weir in there to control the elevation, but the water literally goes from 3rd to 4th to 5th underground. When it gets to the structure, which is just south of Sunset Avenue, it enters through a manhole into the Vortex device. I think the swirl chamber is first, and then there's a settling area, and you go underneath a little weir structure internally. So you take out hydrocarbons and oils, and then you go into another chamber that takes out floatables, and then it comes back online and goes north through the manhole at Sunset and 6th Avenue, Memorial Drive, Sunset, 6th Avenue, and goes into the lake just beyond the tennis courts. So these 3 devices, the plans are 90+%. The specs are done. They'll be ready to go out to bid. The issue is the one Steve brought up. If they don't have funding in place and easily accessible, we really can't get out to bid because we don't have that money available to us to, fast track these devices so the contractor can install them. So we'll be working on that over the next month. Get the plans done, get the specs done. We're all ready to go out to bid in a couple of weeks. And then when we know the money's available, we'll go out to bid.
Hey, Peter,
The authorization. Yes.
do we need any vote for this to be released or not?
I don't think so. I don't think we'd recommend release. And Steve, you can answer to that too. I don't think we would recommend release until we're comfortable that the funding is in place and can be easily accessible by the commission first to pay for the purchase and construction of the units, and by the contractor second to install and get paid for his work. It's not like the Gatehouse project. The Gatehouse project, we have much more control over the money because Ocean funded it and bonded for us, so we can pay the contractor and then get reimbursed when the job is done. This one doesn't work that way. This one works like a community
Yeah,
development.
I agree 100%. I think it would be premature at this point in time to, proceed with putting it out. I just really need to hold on to it before, until the whole funding issue is resolved.
Yeah, I agree.
Don, I'll add one other thing. Well, throughout the course of this, we looked at 5, 6, 7 different locations for this. The locations we've chosen for these units, both at Sunset Lake and Deal Lake, are such that it would not prohibit construction during the school year, would not prohibit construction during the summer months. It almost doesn't matter when construction occurs. So we can control that. So as soon as we're comfortable with the funding, I would recommend we just have the plans and specs ready and we go out to bid.
It looks like we may not have a summer to worry about, buddy. Hate to say that. Anyway. All right, great. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you. If
Okay.
anyone has any questions, commission members or public
I
will.
do. I have a question about the, could we put those plans up on the website, or is that part of what you were saying was premature, Peter? Steve?
In this instance, normally you wouldn't do it until it's voted on by the commission and ready to go out to bid. There are progress plans. They're not completed. I'll leave that up to the commission if you feel comfortable with it.
I don't feel comfortable with it at all. The conceptual stuff I have no problem with.
Right.
Any kind of bid specs I got a problem with. So
No, I was talking about, showing where the devices are going to go in the lake. Some of
Maybe
those.
I can get that conceptual plan from Turner.
that's
and
already out there. We already have that in. That should be on the website already for our presentation Asbury. That should be on that presentation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're right.
I got you on that. Yeah, I understand. Okay, next item. Organic removal from Fireman's Pond. I will hold that. I do not know anything on that. Peter, you know anything more?
No, they have not taken any action.
The only thing I could tell you is Ocean Township had a street sweeper on my street and along all the lake streets the last couple of days, which is almost a miracle. So they finally heard us, and they're actually sweeping the streets, the lake streets. So now we got to get the drains clean. So, but the curbs are getting cleaned.
Great.
Water testing, Monmouth University, CloudNet, very active. I saw an email today. I think next Wednesday, is that correct, Carol? There's a meeting, some kind of online Facebook group meeting.
I did not get that email.
There we go. Yeah. You heard it here first. Let me see where I got it.
Yes, Don, that's true. Jason has sent out to the people that are doing water testing. He's forming a Facebook group and a kind of a period where all of us can talk at once, and he's going to be updating us on some of what's going on. And what he did say, which is it's good to know, that there are no state or county or any other groups, professional groups, testing the water. Right now, we are the only ones that are doing this because we're volunteers. So I thought that was worth everybody's knowing that those people, you know, those of us that are out there attesting are doing a real service at this.
Oh, I see what it is. It's a virtual Earth Day on April 22nd. It's tied into Earth Day.
Right.
Okay.
I'll post it. We'll get it posted on the website.
Okay.
Too.
Thanks. Ship and sniff.
Hey, Don, just
yeah.
one thing. Jason did forward to me all the data that's been thus far collected
Oh, good.
at Deal Lake, broken down by station,
Okay.
the various parameters, and all of that is graphed. He just
Oh,
sent
save that
to me.
for
Yeah.
discussion.
Yeah, well, he sent it to me today. I have not had a chance to look at it
Okay.
in a lot of detail.
Okay, but you got it. That's great. And I'll give the pH information, right?
Yeah, well, that's the only thing I looked at really
Carol
closely
knows,
was the
yeah.
pH.
Yeah, Carol definitely does a pH. Carol, you don't test over in Terrace Pond, do you?
No, I test on Interlake Drive.
Okay.
I test by the flume, Don.
Okay.
But there are people. We had 12 people in our group out testing. So.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Jeannie, could you forward that email to me, please?
I sure will.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Ship
He
and
was
sniff.
actually replenishing everybody's kits today too. He was going around to people's homes, picking up, dropping off supplies.
I have a whole bottle of dissolved oxygen waste. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, he sent out an email asking if anybody needed anything.
All right.
All right. We're gonna keep moving, guys. We're gonna keep moving.
Thank you.
Ship and sniff. We're trying to work with TOSA on putting out the dyes. We're gonna test some of the lines, TOSA lines. So that's, hopefully we'll have more information next month on that. It looks like our New York community is moving in, so that's what we were waiting for, more volume. And I think we got more volume, so we'll be testing that soon. The tree planting project was done well. It's basically over, and we're just maintaining the plants right now. We cut them back. They're growing. They're looking great. And there's some dead things that have to be replaced. That's going to be happening in the next month or two. You'll see some plantings going on there. The Seaview Mall, we're working with the Watershed Alliance, and that's been pretty much on hold right now with all the things that are going on. We were supposed to have a meeting with Tom Arnone and Vin Gopal, and that was unfortunately right in the middle of all the chaos we've been experiencing. So hopefully we get that rocking and rolling soon. And now we got the weed treatment, 2020 weed treatment. I think I sent the information out to you guys. And I'm going to make the proposal, the motion to accept. Hold on, I'm going to put this online. 1 second. Let me get this on. I got Solitude. Nope, that ain't it. Solitude. Nope. Where did it go? I'm looking for my files up here. Did I lose them? Solitude.
You had it earlier.
There it is.
There it
I had
is.
it. There we go. So my motion is to accept the Solitude proposal for the amount. Let me get down to the amount. Right here. It would be for Terrace Pond and the western section of Sunset for the amount of Terrace Pond be $34.68, and for the western section is $867. So that's my motion to accept the proposal. And it'll be for the Clipper application.
Oh,
It'll be
okay.
2 treatments.
Someone offer?
Second.
I'll offer.
Bruce. No, I offered it. I
Oh,
offered it.
sorry, I second.
Second.
Asbury Park.
So we're going to accept.
Jesse, you got that?
Yes. Proposal of Solitude for the Terrace Pond, 3460, not to exceed 3468. And what was the other section? The other-
867.
867.
867.
Alan?
And let me just go to the document itself. There was some question. This management program number 2 incorporated one program exceeds. Okay. Application number 2, is that the one I'm looking for? Hold on. Is that the way? Hold on. I think I got it right.
Don, were you going to open it up to the public, did you say earlier?
Yeah, I wanted to open up the, let's do that. Let's have a motion, Jesse, on that.
Oh, do you want to vote on this first and then have it, or hold it and then?
I think we got to open to the public, get their comments, and then we could vote on it.
Go ahead. I have a memo from Bill that he wants read into the minutes, but it's kind of lengthy.
Yeah.
So I will attach, I'll make it part of the minutes at the end.
And the essence of it is he would like it to be done, correct? He
Right.
sees
But
the weed growth growing,
Right.
and he would like to see it done.
Yeah,
So
but I will make it part of the minutes.
We have to
Okay,
unmute
thanks.
the public now. John,
Do we have to have a motion for that, Jesse?
We're going to unmute the public, and if anybody wants to make a comment at this time, state your name and say that you would like to make a comment.
Brian Watkins would like to make a comment.
Okay, Brian, how you doing? Go ahead.
Good, good. How is everyone? I hope you guys are all safe and well during this trying time.
Oh, yeah.
So before everyone votes on this, I want to ask you all a question. I don't want you guys to answer it, but I just want to ask a question. Why do you want to treat the lake with chemicals for the quote unquote weeds? So I asked that question because the hydrilla in the lake is not really a weed. It's a bad way to say what that plant is. It's actually a perennial plant. And that perennial plant is sold to people who have ponds in their yards or, such like that. That particular plant, acts very much as a filtering system for the lake. And I believe Ms. McBride mentioned this a couple meetings ago. When we have any type of rain, the inflow into Terrace Pond is quite rapid. And that, with those weeds gone, or that grass gone, that's just going to cause an inflow of sediment into the lake, not just Terrace Pond, but into the main lake. And that 3-foot deep lake will soon become a 2-foot deep lake, and then soon become a 1-foot deep lake. The other thing about the hydrilla, it's a natural habitat for micro and macro organisms, little fish, little bugs, which then lead to food for bigger fish and bigger bugs, which then lead to food for the birds that you guys all see now, making quite a bit of habitat on the lake. So again, I asked the question of why are we removing the hydrilla from the lake? There are dozens of other lakes in the state that are filled with hydrilla. And those lakes, I'll use Asapink Lake as an example, filled to the brim with hydrilla. The lake is crystal clear. It looks impeccable. The quality of the water there just poops on the quality of the water in Deal Lake, and that's primarily because of the hydrilla. So, again, I'm going to ask that question. Why are we trying to remove that grass from the lake? From what it sounds like, it's purely for aesthetic purposes. So, again, I'm asking a question. Are we trying to care for the lake, or do we just want it to look pretty? So, think about that, please, before you vote on anything.
Hey, Don.
Go ahead.
Don. Brian, I just want to kind of make one quick correction. There's no hydrilla in Deal Lake. I think what you're referencing is the myriaphyllum, the Eurasian water milfoil in the parrot feather, because hydrilla is an extremely invasive plant that has only recently shown up in Jersey. And, nobody really wants that in in their lakes, because it'll choke out an entire lake in very short order.
And I do stand corrected. I do stand corrected. I apologize for that.
Okay. So okay, so that, I just want to make sure, because that, all of a sudden that set off like an alarm in my head when I said, is there really hydrilla in the lake? But then I figured you were talking about the Myriaphyllum. But, you know, this is like an age-old problem for us. You know, we do have a section of the lake, that being Colonial Terrace, that has been, you know, pretty heavily impacted. We're hearing from the residents there that they can't use that section of the lake. It amounts to about, you know, 7 acres of the total lake. So it's a, you know, it's a relatively small area. But
Very quick question, and not to cut you off, but I use that section of the lake quite regularly in my kayak to fish. I'm curious as to why the residents are not able to use the lake. Does anybody have any answer to that? I know I'm not asking you to answer that by any means.
Right.
I'm floating it out there if there's anybody
else?
out there that's
I'm sure we'll hear from some of those folks in a minute, but let me just like finish on a couple of points that you had brought up. So, you know, so, and I agree with you 100% that, you know, fish and biota, you know, rely on aquatic plants. And, you know, as you recall in the presentation I did a couple of months ago, you know, our objective is not to nuke everything and get rid of all the plants. This particular chemical won't have any effect on any of the water lilies or on any of the emergent plants along the shoreline of, you know, the treated area. So basically what it's actually going after is primarily the milfoils, the parrot feather, Eurasian water milfoil, and coontail, those 3 species that are in the, you know, in that section of the lake. You know, again, I think your point is well taken with respect to sedimentation. Although if you look at, you know, sedimentation patterns in Terrace Pond, even when there's no weeds in the lake like right now, the majority of those sediments are dropping off close to the mouth of the 2 streams that enter. I mean, that's where we're seeing the largest deltas. I'm not going to say, you know, you won't potentially see more turbidity coming downstream if there were none of those filtering plants in there. But you know, personally, I don't think, you know, based on my observations of the sedimentation patterns and the bathymetry that, you know, Peter, myself, and Monmouth, you know, has collected up in that section of the lake, that you're going to see, you know, all of that sediment pushed down into the main body of the lake. It's still going to remain, you know, the majority, the vast majority of it up there in that end of the lake. So, I mean, those are good points, but I think at the end of the day,
I do have one more question for you, though.
Yeah.
Since you are here, and I was hoping you were going to be on the call. We did have treatment. You know, I sit on the Sunset Lake Commission, and we did treat the lake there last year and the year prior. Last year we had Black Lagoon. Black Lagoon is contracted out to it, right? So
Yep.
Last year I had specifically asked to not have the lake treated during the fish spawn.
Mm-hmm.
The lake was treated during the fish spawn and no fish spawn. The day after the lake was treated, the fish immediately moved off their beds, and we had no fry at all. So my question is, I don't know what Black Lagoon treated the lake with. I tried to get that information prior to the meeting. I couldn't get it. My question is, will this treatment affect the fish spawn? Because our lake does spawn very late compared to the rest of the state. We don't spawn until late May, beginning of June.
Yeah.
And that spawn
Okay.
can last out till June, late June.
No, okay, so I hear what you're saying, and yeah, Sunset Lake is totally different than Deal, and I don't agree at all with the treatment program that has been implemented at Sunset, because it's not consistent with what we're trying to do at Deal with respect to having a balanced lake ecosystem. To answer your question,
smile on my face right now.
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, I've tried to find out what they treated with as well, and I can't get that answer either. I've asked multiple times over multiple years. But in terms of the use of the clipper in that, you know, in the terrace pond section of the lake, yeah, there's going to be some overlap with the fish spawn, but it's going to be, it's going to be limited to those areas that are going to be treated. This chemical is a contact herbicide, meaning it only is going to affect the plants that it comes in contact with. And it's a very fast acting. When I say fast acting, the chemical dissipates within a couple of days. The maximum, yeah, even at maximum dose, it's a 3-day breakdown, time period before that water could be used, say, for irrigation. So,
Steve,
yeah.
what time frame? What time frame do you think that's going to be added? What time do you think that the first treatment is going to be done?
It's probably going to overlap, with the time frame that Brian was mentioning, sometime between May 15th and June 15th, June 30th, the latest.
Okay. We can.
And is there a possibility of that chemical going downstream and over the dam into the main lake from Terrace Pond?
That I really doubt.
Well, no, it's going to be. Well, it's going to be because
No.
we're treating Western Sunset.
Well, yeah, but it's going to be limited to the areas that are going to be treated. Okay, we need enough plant. The whole thing with the timing is that you need enough plant growth for the chemical to react. For there to be a chemical reaction, and the way this chemical works is that it adheres to the plant, and it's only going to affect the plants that it comes in direct contact with at the designated concentration. So, the treatment's going to be, let's call it a very selective type of treatment in terms of area. And drift is not a really big problem with Clipper. It's not like when there's other chemicals that drift. That's not a problem with Clipper. It's a very fast acting contact herbicide.
Steve,
last question, and I'll get off my box. Is there any harm in treating later in the season?
Well, the problem that comes up with that, Brian, is basically this product.
And I'm asking that purely due to the fish spawn. That's the only reason I'm asking that.
Right. There's two reasons why we don't want to do that, okay? Number one, maybe three, but number one is that, our goal is to knock down these plants in an active growing phase and before there's a lot of biomass, so that we can get them under control before there's a lot of biomass. Because what we don't want to do is put a big plug of nutrients into the lake by, killing off a fair amount. And granted, again, we're talking about, roughly about only 5% by area of the total, surface area of the lake. But we don't want all that biomass being killed off at the wrong time of year. The second and bigger reason is that Clipper is pH sensitive. And once the pH exceeds 8.5, it's no longer effective. And I checked the pH the pH levels of the lake, and definitely once we get into
June, it's up.
Mid-July, August, we have pHs that definitely 8.5, creeping all the way up to like 9.5. And the third reason, although it's not that much of a an issue with Clipper because its its use restrictions are nominal, is irrigation of the golf course. At worst, it would be a 3-day shutdown with this particular chemical, but by doing it earlier in the season, we avoid that because it's unlikely, particularly given the amount of rain that we've been getting this year, that they're going to be irrigating, between the middle of May and the middle of June. And even if they are, it's not going to be critical if they have to shut down the irrigation for anywhere between 1 to 3 days.
Right. Understood. Okay. That all makes sense.
Thanks.
I was just kidding.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
So any other public comments out there, please, on this subject? Okay, if there's none, we're going to close that down. And any other discussions from the commissioners?
No, I thank you, Steve, for explaining that so well.
All right, we're going to get rolling, guys. Jesse, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Allenhurst,
Yes.
Asbury Park,
A lot of comparisons drawn between the United States and Italy. I mean, there's other countries.
Jeannie.
Sorry, I thought I was unmuted. Yeah, yes, absolutely, yes.
Interlaken,
Yes.
Lock Harbor,
Yes.
Neptune,
Yes.
Ocean.
Yes,
Okay.
with reservations, but I'm doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Be happy.
Thank you, Steve, for
Thank you,
explaining
Steve.
that so well to everyone.
Yeah, it was a good job, Steve.
Yep.
Okay, let's keep rolling.
Clean up.
Spring cleanup, canceled. Carb contest, canceled. We'll have to revisit that. I did ask a lot of folks, if you got any time and you got a trash bag and rubber gloves, do your best to pick up around the lake. There's a couple ideas I'll pass around next month, but we really Carol and I did a section of Interlaken, and we took how many bags out, Carol?
6.
Yeah,
6.
6 nice bags. It was a lot of trash. And then we ended up, we're going to do some sections of Asbury by Oxini. I got one of my scouts and his dad is going to help out with that. And hopefully we get Asbury done in a week or so over by the boat ramp. So, but other sections definitely need to be cleaned up. So if you can help anyway, that'd be great. Carp contest, we'll see what happens down the road. If you like carp fishing, go out and catch a couple of carp and throw them in the trash bin.
Hey, Don, real quick,
Yeah.
it's Brian again. A couple of us are going out on the lake on Saturday with some nets. Going to be doing some pool skimming.
All right, thanks, man. That's great. Assessment update, Jesse.
We are still waiting for the checks from Lock Harbor, Interlaken, and Neptune.
Okay. I think some of the budgets are still being voted on, I believe.
I
That's
did
right.
get a purchase order from Neptune, sent it back, but I haven't received the check.
Oh, that's good news.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could you say that again about Neptune?
Neptune did send in a purchase order, which I sent back. We just haven't received the check.
Okay.
What can
that's-
I have Lock Garber send you? Tell me again and I'll have it, make sure they send it.
The 2020 assessment, their portion.
2020 assessment. Okay.
And Margot, I think that's just a budget issue. I think you guys are voting on the budget next week, maybe, or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think that's it.
I'll find out.
I can follow up with the mayor in Interlaken too.
Okay, great. Thank you. New business.
We got new business. That's the end of old business, new business now.
The future of teleconferencing.
Yeah, maybe Ken, can you go over this with us a little bit? Or Jeannie?
Oh, yeah, Ken, you're going to talk about that, the teleconferencing options that there are for Zoom. Are you in, Ken?
Okay, so one thing I just wanted to mention, everybody's been talking about Zoom, security, blah, blah, blah. I have noticed that there is a person sitting in our waiting room called Owner who I have not let in the room. I messaged them to identify themselves and they would not. So we have a potential disruptor.
I cannot.
Waiting
That's
room.
me. I cannot respond back to you.
So they didn't respond at all. I messaged them. So that's a red flag to me. So there they sit.
Okay.
That's me you're talking about.
Is that you, Eric?
Saying that too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we have a bomber.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
just says owner. So,
I can't
when I
respond back.
see a name like that as an admin, it's like, all right, well, somebody's trying to own me. So I'm very, very, very careful. So just, those are the types of things you have to err on the side of caution.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
And you're also, down the road, it would be great that the public can see the images that we put up on the screen. Is there any way we can let them in to see the video and not see them?
No, I don't think there's a way to do that, actually. I think they have to have video to begin with. I mean, they can be in on a video call. Their video can be muted so you don't see them,
Okay.
and then they would be able to see the video.
But they would have to be invited,
We want to go with that.
but they would have to be invited and you would have to accept them. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay,
They have to request to join the meeting, and then they get an invitation.
okay, I got you. So it's a little extra work for them, but I think it's
Right.
safe. It's a safeguard
Yeah,
overall.
we've been dealing with the ramifications of all this additional security parameters with Zoom all week at my job. I mean, we have an enterprise Zoom solution at Brookdale, and one of the things that we dealt with is Zoom pushed out an update over the weekend that basically said that any video that you record has to be password protected. Well, you might well imagine that with all the students and teachers, the teachers who use video, and we're just used to say, okay, their class is done, video goes up, no problem. All of a sudden, all their videos were password protected. So we had to, luckily, we realized there was an issue, and we only got a certain amount of videos that had to be, had to be repaired or passwords turned off. But those are the types of things they're really trying to get a lid on things, and mistakes can be made.
So
But
I want to thank you for all the work you did on getting this together. I know it basically took a month, our initial test and all that, and I thank you for that. We have two things to talk about. One is what are we going to do for the year? I assume we probably should just sign up for this for a year.
Ken, let's tell.
Hold on, Jeannie. Hold on, Jeannie. Hold on. Jeannie, hold on. What's that? So we have to discuss, a year of this. I don't think we should go month to month. I think we should, if we're going to do it, just bite the bullet, do it for the year. Unless you guys want to do it differently, that's fine with me. I can go either way. And then the other thing, I think, Ken overseeing it, it's above and beyond his normal job for us, a webmaster. And I'd like to see him compensated accordingly. And I was thinking $100 a month, Ken, for this until we don't have to do it again. Is that okay with you, or?
I'll take it.
There we go. So
actually that's, like I said, we've worked out the major parts of getting this stuff to work. Now we've actually done it. We know what it involves. So, if you want to call it, the infrastructure part of it is basically done.
Okay. So I guess the proposal would be, we'll go month to month. It's $15 a month, and Ken's fee is $100 to run it and oversee it. So do I hear a motion for that?
Okay, wait, let's do Ken's first, and then we'll do the video.
Yeah, actually, I just had something to show in terms of what we're using. You may want to consider having a account that the DLC owns, as opposed to, I have an account and then you pay me. You have your own account.
I got you.
Why don't you bring it up on the
So
screen?
that's what I'm gonna bring up. I'm gonna bring up what we're using right now.
Okay.
And then we can see what the other options that they offer. They're obviously extra cost offers.
Oh, this is not one, we don't own this right now. This is yours.
But right now,
I got you.
basically this is what we're on. We're on the free account. I'm not the free account. We're on the pro account, and $14.99 a month per host. So this is the kind of gotcha. It's a one host account.
Right.
So add, like, say if you wanted to have two simultaneous hosts or more, it's an extra $15 a month per host. So that's something, it's probably not a big deal for what we're doing, but that's just something you should know.
Okay.
The main reason why we had to go this route was because we were getting cut off after 40 minutes, and we would have been cut off a long time ago. We're at 1 hour 52 right now. So,
but we can go month to month on this. Is that correct?
I mean, we could, and that's fine. But you may want to consider down the road having an account that the organization owns, because now you could potentially say, okay, the organization has an account. Say, for example, somebody needs to have a meeting. All the principals in the account would have access to the credentials.
Oh, I see.
Anybody could use it. Rather than, me, somebody wants to have a meeting, now they have to call me, da, 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 da. You have an account, you can use it as you wish, whenever you want, so on, so on.
And just for example, let's say Dawn, Steve, and Peter want to have a meeting using the DLC account. So either any one of those three people could say, okay, they know what the credentials are, and that's our DLC account. Of course, they could do that with, if they have their own Zoom account, but this allows the DLC account to be billed to the DLC, and then it also allows individuals to use it because each of the commissioners would have the credentials.
I'm okay with it. It's $14.99 a month, right?
Right.
So we'll go with that. But it's not, we just pay month to month, right?
Yeah, and I think the way Zoom works, you can also do like a yearly, where I think you get like, basically I think you get like 2 months free, if you want to think of it that way. So if you build a year in advance, you'd actually get, I guess you'd say, 14 months worth of service.
Okay.
But
So
the thing is to decide whether you want to take that, whether we're going to make it our account, because right now it's Ken's account.
Well, I think you're right. I think we should make it our account. I agree.
Okay.
So the question is, do we do a full year and we just overlap it? And where do we take? I guess we take the money out of lake maintenance. Is that correct? Jesse?
So Ray, I don't know we have money in the website account?
No, that's a separate, that's totally separate. I would think this would be
I'll have to ask Ray what we would take the money out of.
Yeah,
Okay.
is there a
It's not really
communications
considered
account?
maintenance.
Does it matter?
If we had our own account, would we still need to pay Ken? Is that part of the deal as well?
Right.
Or no?
Yeah, it would be in addition, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Ken still does our website.
Yeah, you need somebody outside watching who's coming in. I can't do that. I'm not gonna do that.
Well,
Right now, I'm the bouncer right now. That's why
well, then can you
standing
put
behind
me
the
in?
velvet rope.
But I think, too, as people get more comfortable hosting, any one of us can host our meeting. Dawn can run it, and the person who's hosting can send out the invitations and monitor and, monitor the meeting while it's going on. That's really hard for, the commissioner to do while the meeting's being run, so.
Right, but what Ken's also doing, he's kind of like the video guy in Interlake and Town Hall. So, he's taking care of all the peripheral, he's taking the video, he's recording this, and I assume this can be posted, correct?
It's going to be posted on our website just
Okay.
after the meeting's done, yeah.
It won't be on channel 77 though.
No.
Okay.
No, it'll be a link right on the site. You can go
We're going
right
to post it under
Okay.
meetings. So I'm glad you brought that up, Don, because that's where, we were discussing the best place to put it is where we put our meetings on our website. So we'll just put, video of meeting recording. It won't be edited.
Yeah, it'll probably just be edited on the front and the back, so all of our pre-meeting chatting, won't be in there, and then the post-meeting chatting.
So Ken, the correct motion would be to get our own Zoom account for not to exceed $150 for the year.
But we can always decide to, let's say in August, we want to do a regular meeting. We can do that, right?
We could do, sure. We can still keep the Zoom though. We
Yeah.
can still keep the Zoom, not get rid of it. Because he's right. We can have other meetings on Zoom. We're having meetings for the Great Lakes in New Jersey. And it's easier to talk to Steve on Zoom versus having him run down here for something. So
Right.
Anyway,
Okay.
How about we make a motion?
make a motion on that. 1 year of Zoom and Ken $100 a month until we don't do this anymore. Then it's different.
Make the
do
motion.
Zoom first. Someone please offer.
Offered.
I'll offer. Neptune.
Second. Neptune. Alan Hurst,
Aye.
Asbury Park,
Yes.
Interlaken,
Yes.
Loch Arbor,
Yes.
Neptune,
Yes.
Ocean.
Aye.
Okay. And the second one would be to increase to pay Ken $100 a month for how many, for the remainder of
It
the
would
year?
be, it wouldn't be as web work. It would be separate.
Right,
It would
right.
have to be separate.
Yes,
For
for the remainder of the year, or?
No, how about every time that he's needed?
Each meeting.
Yeah, each,
Okay.
yeah, every once a month,
Yeah,
Okay,
once-
or if we need it, if
Okay.
needed.
not to exceed, or? Do you want a not to exceed number?
No.
I don't think you need, it's once a month, so it's what,
Okay. Okay,
six more months
As needed.
as needed?
as needed,
Yes,
okay.
Needed.
Seema,
Okay.
please offer.
Offered.
Offer.
Second,
I second.
Second.
Allenhurst,
Aye.
Asbury Park,
Yes.
Interlaken,
Yes.
Loch Arbor,
Yes.
Neptune,
Yes.
Ocean.
Aye. Okay, 319, we won. The 319 effort with NJIT, we were one of the two water bodies we're looking at to test a Chinese blue-green algae eater, and we won that effort, believe it or not. And so sometime in the next year, who knows when, maybe when the ice occurs in the February, I have no idea. They're going to try to get this machine down. I don't even know if it's in the country yet, to be honest with you. It might be a 2-year, it might be next summer that it happens. I have a gut feeling it won't happen this summer. But we were part of that win, so that was a big pat on the back for Deal Lake Commission. Phase 2 for the 319, which we did put a proposal in, was not, we had no reports back. Steve, you have any more feedback on that?
No, that, with DEP being closed right now, that announcement was supposed to be made last week. And, I don't expect to see that announcement being made for a while.
Okay.
And just so that people understand, when you say blue-green algae eater, it's a harvesting type of machine that separates the cells from the water without disrupting or releasing the toxins. I don't really fully understand the entire process, but we'll see how it operates. But that's basically the concept. It's sort of like a vacuum cleaner that sucks up the cells and separates them from the water without disrupting the cells and putting toxins into the water. So we'll see how that goes.
Sounds good.
I might have, hold on, I might have a picture. Hold on, we might get lucky here. I don't know. Is that it? That's not it.
All right.
That's not it. All right.
Why don't you give it to us and I'll put it on the website.
Yeah, it's around here somewhere. I forget it. Never mind.
Yeah,
Anyway,
they sent it to us in an email.
Yeah.
I've got it someplace.
it looks like a machine for a crop, a tiller in a farm. That's what it looked like. Anyway, let's open this up to the public.
Someone offer,
So moved.
second,
Second.
okay. Anybody from the public?
Anybody on a call? Anybody out there? I know there's one person.
They're muted.
Uh-oh.
They're muted though, Ken. Okay.
Okay. Any questions from the public? Public? 947, you're it.
Okay, looks like. a
Okay,
lot
that's
of
it. We
people
got
left.
close the public session.
Someone please offer to close the public session?
I'll offer.
Offered.
Second?
I'll
Alan?
second.
Okay.
Okay.
A
Well,
motion-
how did our first meeting ever on
Wait,
Zoom go,
wait,
guys?
We have to adjourn the meeting.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Motion
Yeah,
to
before
adjourn.
we adjourn the meeting, we're sticking with our schedule for the next meeting, right?
Yes,
Correct.
Conference
yes,
for April?
yes.
Correct. We have to vote on this? We don't have to vote on this, do we?
No.
No, I just want
All
to know.
Well, meeting's adjourned. Thank you for all
We
coming.
got the first and
It
second.
was pretty good.
Wait,
How do you think?
Thanks, everybody.
Wait, Don.
Don, we have to,
Thank you.
someone has to move to adjourn the meeting.
Move to
Oh.
adjourn.
Thank
Move
you.
to adjourn. Second.
Second it.
Second,
All
third.
in favor?
Aye.
Aye.